welcome to Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You. Geoff Schwartz is Smarter Than You. It's presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Today is Tuesday, August 26th. I am Geoff Schwartz alongside Gabe Goodwin. And Gabe, we have finished the preseason. We have takes abound. College football regular season starts this week. I am going to Eugene, Oregon to watch my Oregon Ducks play, taking the kids. I know you are going to the Coliseum, unfortunately, to watch USC. Is this the first game USC's ever played against an FCS opponent?
Don't pop quiz me like that, man.
FBS opponent? I think
saying hello to you first thing in the week and you're trying to give me trivia questions? I don't know.
Just straight to USC slander immediately. So we'll cover a little bit of college football at the end of the show. But first, we have to start with the National Football League. And Gabe, you're going to make me very angry, I think. We have a passionate Geoff Schwartz today about some of these topics because there are some fools on the internet that are saying some things that they know better. They know better, Gabe.
Well, I was going to dance around it. I was going to be coy, but I think let's get right to it. It's not the greatest college football player of all time. We decided that. The people have spoken. That's Tim Tebow. But one of maybe the top 10 college football quarterbacks of all time has become an analyst and a bit of a foil to you at times. I know we both respect a great deal of his career, but he has some takes you disagree with, including this one. Shedeur Sanders is set up for failure in Cleveland because he's playing with fifth-string linemen out there in preseason. He has no chance to succeed because who are these guys, fifth stringers, trying to block for him?
Okay, so Gabe, the number one problem I have, all right, with a lot of things we see on social media, it stems from this, is people saying easily disprovable things as fact. Okay, like that's a problem we have on the internet now, and it started about 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. Now we just say things that are false as truths, knowing that they're false, just hoping no one either fact checks you or no one decides to take the time to prove you're wrong. I had time yesterday to prove this person wrong. In the entire rant that we saw on social media, which is then of course linked to a YouTube of a longer podcast episode, this person said many things that were just obviously wrong. Okay, we'll get to the stuff about playing the fifth string offensive lineman, but the things that were said in there, like for example, that Shedeur Sanders played in the highest rated preseason game in the last 10 years is easily false because the Hall of Fame game this season was rated higher than the Browns game against the Panthers on NFL Network. I would imagine even that there were some games shown in this preseason on major networks, NBC, CBS, Fox, that were rated higher than a game on NFL Network on like a Friday night. Okay, so like things that are easily false, easily disprovable as lies, used as facts. That's a problem in our country. It's a problem in sports media. It's a problem all over the place, right? So when you start from that premise of multiple things that are wrong in the take that you're trying to give, I discredit you almost immediately. So let's get to the issue at hand that everyone seems to have. Shedeur Sanders didn't play with the proper personnel. Shedeur Sanders is a fifth-round pick, Gabe. A fifth-round pick. Okay, that's what he is. Whether you disagree with that, we can have a debate on that. I thought he should be drafted higher. Maybe he shouldn't have based off his play. But fifth round pick is where he's at. And in the depth chart, in the hierarchy of the Browns, Joe Flacco is 1. Now, Kenny Pickett was 2. He got traded. Dylan Gabriel was 3 because he was drafted ahead of Sanders, and Sanders was 4. And during training camp, the Browns handled Shedeur Sanders' reps no differently than anyone else in the National Football League for a fifth round pick and a fourth-string quarterback. This idea of open competition is a myth. We've talked many times about this. There's no such thing as an open competition. It's not a thing, okay? NFL coaches say this all the time. There's no such thing as a competition. Now, I take that back. No one said be absolutes. There are times there are competitions, but when in fact you have a young player and you're drafted in the fifth round, you're not ahead of a third round pick, and you have to do something that is so extraordinarily better, right? That's better than the third round pick to pass him. And Dylan Gabriel, just the way he plays, who's the third round pick, by the way, is never going to be bad enough really to pass. Now, you might be more talented at some point. That talent overtakes Gabriel, which I think is certainly going to happen maybe at some point here. But they did nothing differently than any other team did for any quarterback in the National Football League. Open competition, coaches say it all the time. It's not a real thing because of salary, right? Certain guys are paid to start. Certain guys are drafted to start. It's not a thing. And for RG3 to pretend that competition's a real thing and then to pretend the coach actually means it, it's so disingenuous. Okay. Now, as far as who he played with, okay, he played with the guys that are on the string he plays with. He's a third string quarterback. He played with third string players. Guess what? So, for example, did Tommy DeVito, who went like 17 of 20 in the preseason game in game 3 with the third string. There are plenty of opportunities Sanders had to make plays with the third string. He just didn't do it. You can watch the film. There's no way that RG3 or any of these guys watch the actual film. There's plenty of opportunity. Dan Orlovsky, go check out his social media. I haven't broken it down like he has. He shows like 5 plays. Like he's open here, he's open here, he's open here. Get rid of the ball, man. It's not very hard. And also, too, the same people that say Sanders is being screwed, right? He's being screwed by the Browns. It's a conspiracy. Are the same people who think, by the way, that Sanders is really a better player than he's shown so far. And by the way, Sanders is a 5th round. Again, I'm going to repeat this many times. 5th round pick. He looks like a 5th round pick. Totally fine. A good game, game 1. A bad game, game 3. That's what a rookie season is. That's what a preseason is. But the same people who think he's this good of a player, right? He's in this pedestal up here. If he's that good, guess what, Gabe? He should play well against backups, playing with backups. Like he should be elevating everyone around him and himself if he in fact is as good as you think he is, right? But he didn't play well, and that's okay. It's okay to say Sanders has things to work on, which is certainly the case for a lot of rookie football players. But the easily disprovable things of like fifth string offensive lineman, there's no such thing. There's 3 units, okay? Most in camp, you have like 17, 18 offensive linemen most often. You rotate guys through. There's a first string, a second string, and a third string. A couple stragglers that pop in the third string. And RG3 is saying things like, he played with the 9th and 10th interior offensive linemen. Those are the 5th string guys. Buddy, there's 3 interior linemen that play every single snap, a center and 2 guards. 10 of those guys is equals 3 strings plus 1 extra. There's no 5th string. So those are the things, Gabe, that drive me crazy about any of these arguments, is like easily disprovable things that you can say someone should know better to put into an argument. It makes you look dumb and it makes it look like a weak argument, which it is anyways. And the fact is that Shedeur Sanders was treated no differently than anyone else in the same position. If his name was Joe Smith, Geoff Schwartz, Gabe Goodwin, we would never talk about it. Never talk about it. We're talking about essentially Dwight Schrute, okay? We're talking about the assistant to the assistant, okay? We're talking about a guy who is fighting to be third string. It was at the moment, right? Third string. He's now obviously fighting for a backup job because Pickett's cut. We were arguing about a 5th round pick who was fighting to be the 3rd quarterback on the depth chart. Like, come on. It's so silly, Gabe.
No question. You're also leaving out to be the 3rd string quarterback of the Browns. So we're talking about really not that high on the relevance chart as soon as the season gets going. But I will say this, and I want to throw something back at you. You have sort of preached to me that, where a quarterback gets taken, or really any player gets taken, kind of seals their fate for at least one contract. You kind of, for better and for worse, you kind of can't outlive where you were taken until it's time to get that next deal. And for some guys, and Kenny Pickett may be an example, you are given certain opportunities or benefit of the doubt that your playing doesn't really actually warrant. And so
absolutely.
So Shador slipped to the 5th for reasons that may not have had to do with his play. And why should we have to box him into that area instead of just saying, guy's clearly better than Dylan Gabriel?
Well, but he's clearly not at the moment, right?
All right.
No. First round bias is a thing I've talked about. I'm a 7th round pick, buddy. I live first round bias. Like first round bias lasts forever. Like there are guys, I remember at the end of my career looking at like rosters and being like, this guy stinks. Why is he on a roster? Oh, he's a first round pick.
Right.
Like they continually have these opportunities. Kenny Pickett's on his 3rd. Kenny Pickett took a knee in the Super Bowl. He ended the game with the ball in his hand. And he's on his 3rd team now since February. Mm-hmm. Kenny Pickett also cost me some money because I bet under 2.5 quarterbacks will attempt to pass. And he attempted to pass on 4th down, believe it or not, complete a pass on 4th down, which is hilarious. But nonetheless, I digress. He's on his 3rd team now. Like if that was a 5th round pick, 7th round pick, he would not be on his 3rd team. And if he was, he would be a 4th round, a 4th string guy, 3rd string guy, right? Like he's not a priority backup like he is in the NFL now. So draft slot bias matters. But again, like if you just look at the competition of any third round pick against a fifth round pick, right? In the same position, it's different on the offensive line where you might be a third round pick to play left tackle and the fifth round pick might play right guard. That guy might play so well right guard, he starts and the third round pick doesn't. They're not the same position, right? So we're talking about the exact, which really only happens at maybe running back, right? They rotate though, right? Tight end rotates,
yep.
But quarterback, where it's specifically one guy's on the field. So Sanders has to do so much more than Gabriel to overcome him early in his career. And the fact is, Dillon Gabriel is not a quarterback who's going to do a lot of things bad, okay? Just not what he is. He's an older quarterback, played a ton of football. Oregon, for as much as we talk about the up tempo they have and maybe the way they play, the style of offense they have, it's a very pro style offense. What Will Stein does there, passing game attack, very pro style. Quarterbacks in charge of protections, very West Coast offensive based. Sanders at Colorado, what he did at Colorado, the offense they had, I don't even know what you can call it offense. It was basically, hey, Shedeur, make us a play and throw it up to Travis Hunter offense. It's terribly designed offense. So Sanders is coming in the NFL, I think, really behind when it comes to just offense. Knowing offense, learning offense, running offense. So Gabriel was never going to be bad enough to be overtaken. Now, I thought that Sanders could play better in the preseason when given the sort of the green light is on, like go play, buddy, and would be better than Gabriel. And I think game 1, he was really good. He was. Game 3, he wasn't very good. Gabriel was fine in game 2. Excuse me, in game 2, he was okay, threw a bad interception, right? Like not terribly good. And then he played better in game 3. So nothing Sanders did. And again, he has to be almost extraordinary to pass the guy in front of you as a rookie. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If you're upset, he's a 5th round pick, certainly fine to be upset, but that's over now. That happened. You got to give it up. You got to move on. And for people like RG3 and others, that you know, a random Twitter follower with 200 people, I got off a great tweet. It's like 5 million impressions. I knew what I was doing. Like, I look, come on, that person knows nothing. I just wanted to be funny and be sarcastic. But the people that should know better, that continually perpetuate this idea that he was screwed and it was sabotage. Gabe, the head coach of the Browns, who we all think is a good coach, 2-time coach of the year, took Baker Mayfield to the playoffs, Joe Flacco to the playoffs. He had to answer an actual question about whether or not he sabotaged a 5th round quarterback and the ability for him to play at a high level. Like, this is the reason why people said these distractions are why Shedeur did not get drafted. I don't know if I buy into all of that, but the fact that a coach has to answer a question about a 5th string quarterback and whether you're sabotaging him is ridiculous. It's why coaches don't want to deal with these type of distractions, right? You don't want to be asked that question, that you're preparing now, obviously, for the regular season. So, yeah, 1st round bias, back to the point, is absolutely a thing. We know it is. But again, Sanders, I want to make this point for the 100th time, was treated no differently. Dillon Gabriel played with 3 of those 5 offensive linemen as well. You know, like you play with a lot of the same wideouts and running backs and tight ends. The chart is up there. RGD put a chart up there that showed all these things and then claimed it wasn't what we were looking at. And so, I think that we have to stop doing this. And also, too, what I think it kind of stinks for Shedeur is he's not doing this himself. His dad's not doing this. Like, Deion said nothing. We don't hear anything from the family about Shedeur, right? Deion's preparing to play this weekend against Georgia Tech. Shedeur said everything like he should. He's been a total pro through this whole process. And yet now people are speaking for him and for his family, and it makes Shedeur look bad, even though it's not his fault, right? Gabe, he said nothing, but you have to listen to all these people defend him for some odd reason and feel a need to go out of their way. Like, I mean, the Josina Anderson tweet, like these are just even so far as people that were saying that Shiloh, his brother, shouldn't have been ejected for throwing a punch. What universe are we living in? He threw a punch. That's an ejectable thing in the NFL. You get thrown at the end of a little bit of a thing, a tussle back and forth. As the refs are looking at you, the play's over. You swing and hit someone in the helmet, you are out of the game. That is a universal NFL rule. Tom Brady, your boy, Tom Brady could do it. He's being thrown out of the game. You're out of the game. You're done. Okay. Patrick Mahomes could do it. You're out of the game. So like the pander, I don't get it, because the draft is over now, right? And again, I give Deion Sanders credit. He has been totally quiet about any of this stuff. He has not raised an issue. He's been a total pro about it. And I don't get like the pandering to the Sanders family. Why are we pandering to Deion over this? Like, just call it like it is. Just talk about his son's play like you would anyone else. He's the same as every 5th round pick.
Okay. I can tell you're kind of hot right now. Should I turn the temperature up a little bit more?
Let me hear what you're going to do now. Let's hear.
Well, I'm just, that was great. The whole point of this show is that you take the takes out there from people who maybe got a little over their skis, maybe forgot a fact or two. It might be friends of ours, might be people we like in general, but they get something a little wrong. Now, one of the guys I like to bring up around here, my friend, I think he's one of the smarter guys in the business, but for some reason, you take issue with a lot of what Kurt Benkert says. All right. And he's hot on Jackson Dart. So we just talked about one kind of irrelevant rookie quarterback. Now it's time to talk about Jackson Dart, a very busy quarterback room with the Giants, I would add. 3-4-ish guys that could be the starter. Kurt's going all in on Jackson Dart based on preseason film. Can preseason film be how you turn a guy who's, third or fourth on the depth chart into the starter? Does that work the way he wants it to work?
It always does. We know preseason translates very well to the regular season. That we know is look, Jackson Dart has looked the part so far, but he hasn't really been tested in the way that we need to be tested to start in the National Football League immediately. Yeah. Look, part of this too is that priors matter a lot, right? If you think Jackson Dart, I don't follow Kirk. I have no idea what his pre-draft thought on Jackson Dart.
Well, he nailed Jaden Daniels last year. Let's just give him his flowers. He absolutely nailed it. He was out on a limb when everyone else was trashing him, and obviously that pick worked out.
I mean, I don't think people were trashing. I think they just said Caleb Williams was going to be better than him. I don't know if trash is the right word, but sure.
Okay, fair enough.
But Jackson Dart, I mean, okay, he's not going to start though, so he can say all those things he wants. Russell Wilson's going to start, and they kept Jameis Winston, which I thought they weren't going to do. So it looks like Jackson Dart's third on the depth chart, which is interesting to me, and I don't know if I agree with that. I think that Winston doesn't provide you very much if Russell Wilson gets hurt, unless the goal is obviously to basically wait to play Dart. You have to play him at some point this season. He's got to play at some point. But maybe the idea is give him half a year to just learn how to be a pro. Look, I mean, it's simple as like just learning how to prepare for a game week in the NFL. Jackson Dart's never done it before. Cam Ward's have to do it now. Like he's playing immediately as a rookie. That's a lot of pressure to do that now. And Jackson Dart gets to sit behind two veterans and figure out how to do it. That's a plus for Jackson Dart. But look, I have not watched enough about him to give a proclamation of whether or not he's going to be the next great quarterback in the National Football League. But he's not going to start. So Russell Wilson's starting, and Jameis will be the backup, and he'll get a jersey on Sundays, and he'll play if those two guys get hurt in front of him. So I have not. I guess I'll defer to Kirk here. He's the best quarterback in Giants history.
Okay. That's very kind of you to give Kurt the deference.
I don't follow him. I have done a good job of ignoring. I
kind of like when you guys go back and forth. I like to see more of that.
I try not to do it as much. I just couldn't help myself with RG3 thing. I just couldn't. I bit my tongue long enough with some of this stuff. I couldn't help myself. I was just sitting at home by myself. My kids this weekend were at the beach. Mm-hmm. I just was sitting there on Sunday, just going back and forth with people.
Well, I'm going to just encourage the fans of this show, especially those now watching on YouTube, just leave a little something in the comments section. I like Spicy Jeff. Give me some ammo. I'd like to spice him up every now and then. You see something that you think's going to trigger him, give it to us, because in truth, I'm messing with him, but in truth, we do get smarter when we show Jeff these flawed takes, and then he teaches us something about football. So here we go. Holdouts. They're always the offseason storyline. Yeah. They're always a little too simplified, a little too basic. We've got two holdout stories with stars. One is concluding nicely. I guess if you're a fan of the Commanders, Scary Terry's back, 3-year, $96 million deal. Obviously, that offense added Deebo Samuel. Now they got Terry back. They look scary as hell. What do you think we should expect from them now that he's back, and did missing preseason matter?
So I'm actually surprised that our text thread that we have with, I think it's 5 total people, 2 are Commanders fans, and no one texted the thread about Terry McLaurin's deal. I was kind of stunned. I'm not going to lie there. Thought we'd be celebrating in the streets with 2 of our members. Look, this makes sense to do this deal. It's basically what will amount to be a 2-year deal, I would imagine, right? Most of these deals end up not being as big as we think. They gave him 1 less year than I think they would like, and he got a little less money, but he'll hit free agency much sooner now. He's 30 years old, 31, 32. Like, this is sort of the perfect amount. They need him, in my opinion. You want to grow Jaden Daniels into becoming the superstar that we think he can become. I'm very high on Daniels. I think Daniels is legitimately going to be a superstar in this league. The throws
You and Kurt
he makes,
Benkert think that. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll align with him there. I do actually think his football that he sells is kind of interesting. I kind of want to buy one and see him like a football that throws well in the beach. I'll give him a shout out to that. Good idea. Yep. Good idea for him. So nonetheless, his ads I like his ads on the internet. I see them all the time. I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah, I want to buy that football. Nonetheless, back to Jane Daniels. I think he's legitimately going to be a superstar. I don't buy this second year sophomore slump thing that we've been seeing around the internet, and having McLaurin there while Jane Daniels is cheap, right? He's still on a rookie contract, is a win-win for everyone. They handled it both well, right? Terry McLaurin did the hold in, and my ankle was hurt for a little bit. No real animosity. They work it out. I will say this though. We see guys that miss the preseason, their injury rate ticks up a tiny bit. So I think there's a concern just naturally about that, right? If you miss training camp, Micah Parsons, Trey Hendrickson, Terry McLaurin, is there a chance of injury? Risk a little bit higher? Yeah, I think so. But you have 2 weeks to prepare though, right? You have this week, you have next week. So that to me is not a concern. No, they play Thursday night, so less time to prepare than you would. Because they play Eagles, right? Thursday night. That's the first game of the year.
That's disprovable comment you made, but I don't have the ability to disprove it right now.
I think they play the Eagles week 1. If I'm not, no, Giants week 1. I said they play an NFC East opponent week 1.
All right, you keep talking. I'm gonna double check this.
He has plenty of time to prepare. I think to be ready to play. It works out for both sides, and I'm happy they got it done. Now Trey Hendrickson, obviously.
They open at home against the Giants 1 o'clock game on Sunday.
There we go. So he has 2 weeks to prepare. Trey Hendrickson signed with the Bengals. The Bengals do this thing where they do not guarantee the second year or even the third year of a deal. I believe they did do that for Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Extraordinary circumstances. I think Trey Hendrickson was one of those guys. They would refuse to do it. So they took his salary this year from, I think, $15 up to about $30 million for a 1-year deal. He becomes a free agent again next season. And if he gives you another 17 sacks, he's probably gone. I don't know what you're going to do about it. He's going to want even more money. And, paying him a 2-year deal, let's say for $60 million, feels like something you should do if you want to win a championship. If you're really committed to being the best team you can be, having a guy who's had 17 sacks 2 years in a row, and mind you, before that, I think he had 7 in an injury year that had 13 and 14 the year before that. So 5 straight years of really 4.5 years of straight production. You pay for that, right? And you want that on your team, especially with a defense that isn't very good. And having him committed more than 1 year, in my mind, would be worth it. Obviously, for the Bengals, it wasn't. But he's back in the building, and they need any help they can get on defense.
Yeah, I mean, except they are cheap and they don't want to pay good players, and who knows if this will make the difference for them. As you've pointed out, they can't block. So, nice that they're going to chase a quarterback around, but this might not make any difference in Cincinnati in a current AFC. Let's go to a couple other names, though, that you brought up. First of all, does getting Terry back put him and Debo in the correct positions, X and Y? Like, what does that mean for that offense? Make me a little bit smarter there, and then I want to...
X and Y. Are you okay this morning? What are you?
I know. I'm just thinking Debo plays a very specific way, which is to say very versatily, but I don't know that everyone does that. So does this get him into the right place?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you want Debo as sort of that intermediate target, right? Middle of the field, sort of slash-ish guy, play the slot, come out of the backfield a little bit, confuse defense. And Terry McLaurin obviously is your outside, your burner guy, right? Down the field, making plays. So it allows you to pair them together on the same side and really cause fits for a defense. So having those guys together will, I think, free up maybe Debo even more. Yeah. We're going to double McLaurin or literally bracket him or have eyes to him. It allows Debo, in my mind, to have more opportunities for one-on-ones.
Beautiful. See, I kind of inspired that smart comment. I didn't say it myself, but I kind of
knows though.
That was like a nice bump set, and then you spiked it. That was great. All right, let's talk about the other holdout that everyone wants to get into. Micah Parsons was, I think, literally asleep on a trainer's table in the last preseason game. This seemed a bit performative to me, but maybe he fell asleep here. Point he's trying to make is like, I ain't part of this, guys. So seemingly not much has gotten better in Dallas. I know how people on First Take might view something like this, but how would a teammate view something like this? Everyone understands contract situations. People don't tend to touch each other's money. But when you make it this obvious and you basically tell everyone to go F themselves, do teammates start to get rubbed the wrong way?
No, I think teammates want him on the field to play and they want Jerry to pay Micah Parsons. So this is over. That's my guess. Because look, in the end, we don't care about much except can you help us win on Sundays? Because if you help us win on Sundays, we all make money and we're all happy. The thing that makes everyone happy in the building is the ability to win. And when you win, not only are you happy, it feels like the week of work you put in paid off, right? You got to, and even by the way, like everyone in the building feels better. The ticket sales department, the finance department, like the marketing, the PR people, the chefs, like everyone's happier when you win, right? You put all this work in to accomplish that goal every week. And so you want all the best players there. And a lot of players support their teammates when it comes to getting the money to get them on the field. And at some point, players would want Parsons back. I would imagine after this week, they say, hey, man, like come back and let's try to win. But I think a lot more on the other side here. Because look, not only is Dallas not paying him an extension, Jerry's going about this in a pretty slimy way, right, Gabe? Where Jerry Jones said, we agreed on this deal in this meeting. And Micah Parsons said, no, we did not. You have to talk to my agent. And Jerry refuses to talk to his agent, which is probably illegal to negotiate without the agent who is in charge of his contract negotiation. Illegal, by the way, like in the CBA, not like he's not getting arrested for that, right. But not allowed in the CBA. But currently the NFLPA like has no president. Our lawyers got fired, just a complete dumpster fire. So who knows if they're even paying attention right now. But, you know, Jerry essentially thinking that Parsons is dumb enough to not include his agent and do a handshake deal, to me, is the big story here, is that Jerry's refusal to acknowledge in good faith negotiations is the problem here. And that the fact is that Jerry continues to try to be cute about this. No, we got, where I come from, we have a handshake deal. What is that even, Jerry? He has an agent. You got to talk to the agent. This is the way it works. The Commanders figured this out. The Bengals figured this out. Talk to the freaking agent. Get the deal done. Side note, Cowboys doc on Netflix, very good. Recommend it. Okay. It's awesome. It's fantastic. But like, also too, it's kind of funny because when you watch the documentary and you look at the roster the Cowboys had, best quarterback, best running back, best offensive line, best wide receiver, best cornerback, best pass rusher, best linebacker. It's like, no shit. Don't you want to keep the best pass rusher? Like, this is how you won championships. Keeping the better players, how you win championships, how you won in Dallas first time around. It wasn't a big magic act. You traded Walker, you drafted all these guys, they ended up being really good. You went and got Dion, you went and got Charles Haley, and boom, your team was much better. That's what you're stunting your growth by not paying Parsons, and you're doing it in really a scumbag way. So I don't know what happens here. Does Parsons have the stones to sit out for the first month of the season? At what point does he need to come back to make sure he accrues his years to free agency or his pension? At what time does Brian Schottenheimer, the new head coach there, like, hey, come on, like Michael, we need you in the building, right? We need you to play. We need to help us win. So many questions there, but the number one point I want to make here is that Jerry is being a scumbag.
Okay, that's come across loud and clear. I think that's kind of an evergreen statement. In, my years as a fan, that's a safe take on any contract dispute that involves the Cowboys. If you say what you just said, I think you're going to be right at least half the time. I'm just glad to hear that the players, you gave me a player's perspective, which is like, we're not resentful of Micah Parsons. We want him on the team. Like we want him to get paid. They're not seeing it as a zero-sum game or why is he being treated differently. They know he's different. And they want him out there, and they want him to get paid. Absolutely. Again, if it was Geoff Schwartz doing this, they'd be like, "Bro, like what the fuck, man? Don't laugh too hard, Gabe. Jeez, that was mean." The idea of you asleep on a trainer's table is just funny to me. I think, and look, Parsons has like no leverage, right? Because he's under contract. So the leverage of laying on the table and sleeping and looking like miserable is just another way to, I think, make your point. I don't know what happens. I have no idea what happens in the end of this saga. for close listeners of this show, when you mentioned the idea of you doing that, that looked, if you were lying down on a table like that, that's what I imagine you looking like at an EDM concert. You're just laying down, tired.
I sit. I have many photos of me sitting on couches at EDM. I think my wife's done with those though. I think she went to EDC this year in May, and that might have been like the end of she only made it to one night out of two. I think that's the end of the EDM concert. We got older kids now. We can't be. I don't know if we go to EDM concerts. I mean, we got sporting events to go to. We had this new school game. I'll tell you, my son is at a new school. I went to the first football game. It's like a football factory high school. Like it's Providence Day. Like we're really good. And it was interesting to be at the football game Friday night. And it's just a different way of football than I grew up with in my Palisades High School.
Look at you team. Reached the highest heights of professional football all the way from SoCal, where, people are at your high school, people were more known for acting and singing. And making big movies, and then you become this NFL guy.
Yeah, Steve. Well, also basketball. Steve Kerr, right? We have an interesting sports. It's Amy Trask, Steve Kerr, my brother and I, Kiki Vandeweghe, Mike Silver works for Sports Illustrated. It's like an interesting little sports group there. Former Palisades High School.
Taco from the show Dave.
Really?
Yeah.
LMFAO. I think everyone from the LMFAO went to Forrest Whitaker. Like it's like an interesting, yeah.
Wow.
Jeannie Buss is a Palisades grad as well. So that's enough Palisades high school history. If you're on YouTube, we're not going anywhere. If you're part of our audience, we'll be right back to cover some more sports topics.
Is this when I bring us back, or are you bringing us back, Geoff? Because I'm on camera right now for the YouTube audience. Look at me drinking my coffee.
It doesn't matter. We're back. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
We're back from break. It's very early for Gabe. I'm glad he made it up early, got his hair done. Looking good. I know we've talked about this before. Gabe getting away from the morning routine. Very lovely. All right, Gabe, what do we got next?
It took us too long. I've done a couple of these now in the preseason with you. We really have not spoken about the Chiefs, but Pat and the podcaster actually played in preseason. Some might question the intelligence of such a decision. What did you I was surprised to see them out there together in preseason. What did you make of those guys playing in preseason for the Chiefs?
They played 3 drives in game 3. Pat and the podcast are so funny. I'll tell you what, man. Again, preseason, it is what it is, but the structure of the Chief offense looked completely different. They're taking shots down the field. They hit a long home run. They're working the running back out of the backfield, and they drafted this young kid Smith who can do that. Travis Kelce looked good. The offensive line, that was a very good performance for the preseason. If that's what the offense is striving to be this season, it will be. They're trying to be basically the pre-COVID offense, right? The big Tyreek Hill offense, the down the field offense. If they can do that this season, watch out. Like they're going to be really good again. And they were good last season, but it'd be a different style of why they're good this year. And that's what I took away from that. That's it. They threw the ball down the field. They play action pass, big home run shots. I like seeing it. And if that is what they're going to try to do this season, can execute at a high level, they're going to be really good.
Okay. So you don't think that this maybe is a sign that they're a little disappointed or nervous about the way things ended last year, that they have some ground to make up, that maybe that podcast host is, not the weapon he was just 2 years ago? They're a little nervous.
The podcast host admitted that he might have been a little bit chubby, importantly, for his figure last year. He said, last season he was a little bit. You missed this, didn't you? He spent 2 summers ago.
I guess I missed it.
Hanging out with his girlfriend, as anyone would. I don't blame him for that. And then this year he looks a lot better. He looks in better shape and looks a little thinner. I've, by the way, caught up now on the Justin Herbert, Madison beer stuff. I'm now fully caught up. So good for Justin. Good for Justin. We covered that, I think, last show, didn't we?
I would like to cover it more. Are we ready to do that? So you're saying we're good on the Chiefs. So here they are.
Here we go.
Justin Herbert and his beautiful girlfriend, Madison Beer, who we did not know who she was a week ago. Now I'm fully up to speed.
I'm in. It's been a really hard research. I'm not going to lie. It's been pretty tough, but I've been able to do it. Okay. So my favorite thing about this picture is that in the comments, people are talking about the leg sleeve. Okay. And they think it's like a swag thing when it's just like to prevent swelling in a body part during training camp. That's my favorite thing about this is the leg sleeve comment. It's like, it's not an accessory. He's just wearing it because maybe his knee is swollen or his hamstring hurts or his calf needs it's swelling a little bit. Like, that's all it is. It's nothing more than people have eaten up the leg. Like, they're like talking about it's a swag thing. Is it? No, it's just like, how can she date a guy who wears a leg sleeve? It's my favorite part with the whole thing. And so good for Justin. $40 million bag of Madison beer. And that feels like what you should be doing if you're an LA celebrity like that.
No question. It's what you should be doing. Ready for a big brain take?
Yeah.
All right. Here's an original. Hank and I were talking about this right before the show. You mentioned the comments. She's got a pretty active fan base. They're pretty online. They get the conversation going.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're watching ball now, sort of like the Swifties. There's probably some cool nickname for someone whose last name is Beer. I'm sure beer drinkers there's some nickname they have. Those people are watching Chargers football. They're going to have takes. Those takes are not going to be as smart as your takes, but they're going to be honest. They're going to be fan takes.
Yeah.
Those takes get filtered into the media. The media brings them to Coach. Coach has a little bit of pressure to think about things a little bit differently. Is it possible that Justin is using her fans to get more of what he wants on the field? Personnel, ideas. Could this all be Justin using that 5D chess?
What is wrong with you? Who thinks I just don't have this brain capacity to think about these web moves like this.
Okay.
No, none of that. No, he's not using her fans to get to Jim Harbaugh.
He's an intimidating guy. It's a little scary to go in and say, hey, Coach, I got some ideas. Maybe I was thinking about this.
Do you think Jim Harbaugh is going to listen to some internet fans of Madison beer, give him ideas?
You weren't listening. He's not going to listen to internet goobers. Internet goobers are the ones who set the pace for the media these days. You know that. So
and
now
the media is going to ask him questions.
That's right. You see how it gets laundered on its way back to Coach. We just did it with the Shedeur stuff. That's how this works now.
Yeah,
just
I guess
think
that's
about
fair.
It. Come back to me on this one.
Matt, I don't think the reporters who cover the Chargers are plugged into Madison beer fans, beer stands, beer fans, beer drinkers,
beer steins.
Do you think they're actually? Do you think her fans will be like Swifties and start watching football now? I think no. Yeah. It's the Chargers. No one's watching the Chargers play.
Reportedly, Hank, that's already happening. Reportedly, these fans are already commenting on the personnel that they get out there with Justin. They have thoughts.
Is it Gen X? What is Hank? Gen Z?
He's
Gen
Z.
X?
He's squarely in Z.
Our Gen Z producer would know such a thing. I wouldn't even know where to begin looking up Madison beer fans and stands and what their thoughts are, other than the tweet about the leg sleeve. It's throwing me here. So good for Justin. Do you think that any legs to this? Is this going to be like a love story that a couple years from now we get a big engagement, a people spread like Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld for their wedding? Is that the direction we're going here? What do you think?
I sure hope so. I'm a Justin fan. I'm now a Madison beer fan. I don't know what she does, but I'm a fan. I hope we're headed towards a wedding.
What does she do?
Doesn't matter. Who cares? You know what? She's the opposite of the band list. This show introduced a band list this season. I have a name I want to add to the band list. Okay. Oh. Actually, two. First up on the band list preemptively, Tyler Loop. Who's Tyler Loop, you say?
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Guess what? He's the kicker on the Ravens who everyone is going to try to hype up and talk about because of the previous kicker is no longer there. And the storyline of let's care about a kicker in Baltimore is going to try to be a thing. It's not a thing. It's not allowed on this show. We're not talking about kickers. We're not talking about Tyler Loop. Banned.
Fair enough. I told someone, by the way, about our ban list who's talking about the Colts, and they said they should add them to their ban list as well. So I think we're making progress of making this a thing in the media.
Absolutely, we are. Good segue. Another name that had previously been on the ban list that's being banned again, Carson Wentz. I don't care which team he signed with. It doesn't matter who he played for, what he did. I don't care. Vikings second, third stringer, doesn't matter. Carson Wentz, banned. Jeff, I know you love talking about him. Not allowed on this show.
last year was really hard for me because I had to root for Carson Wentz as a Chief fan, and he was previously on the ban list. So for those who don't know, the ban list, it's Jordan Hudson, Colts, Kyle Pitts jokes, which will be over soon, I think. Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Loop, and Carson Wentz is our ban topics at the moment. Of course, you can get off the ban list for doing something extraordinary.
No, not a few of those people. No,
a few of those people. I mean. Are you going to watch the new Hulu documentary for Belichick in North Carolina? They're doing like Hard Knocks, but for North Carolina.
I don't know about that. We'll see. We'll see what the first, reviews are like on that one. That's going to take a little bit extra for me to watch. But can we talk about a guy who probably has 6 Hulu docs made about him right now? I feel like every time I turn around, something is promoting him.
Okay.
Joe Burrow apparently has a new buddy. Maybe mentor, we could call him. As far as I know, this is real. He has struck up a friendship with Kevin Durant, and he is picking his brain on how to discuss his process and staying consistent and getting the most out of his teammates. This is what Joe Burrow is hoping to get from Kevin Durant. Jeff, I think this is a bad idea, but what do you think?
Good question. I don't know what to make of this. He's been a nice resource for me. I don't know, Gabe. I mean,
I don't like it. I'll just say it because if I'm Joe Burrow, to me, is at risk of being the Kevin Durant of this era in the NFL, and I don't say that as a good thing. Obviously, he's talented.
Yeah,
but he is
the best player, but then eventually has to leave to go win a championship somewhere else, type of thing.
Yes, and nobody really thinks actually there's a case to make that he's the best player of his generation. There's always going to be a guy ahead of him. And so I'm not sure. Yeah. So, and it could be it's like Lamar and others are in the conversation too. So I don't know if you want to be comparing yourself or your process to the guy who famously did that in the other league, which great player, Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Maybe Joe Burrow is plotting his exit from the Bengals. He's talking to KD about how he left OKC.
Oh, wow. How do you get out? But see, the thing is, you can't, as a quarterback.
I just went Gabe there. I just went Gabe. I went straight conspiracy.
I liked that. As a quarterback, though, you can't, there can't be 2 great quarterbacks. He can't do what he did and join the staff of quarterback. He can't be the Chiefs' backup. That wouldn't get him anywhere.
But what if I'm thinking what if a team? I'm telling you what team is sort of quarterback needy that would need a quarterback, so close to winning, but needs one more piece of a quarterback. I'm sure we're going to come up with a team at some point. No, you're right about that. He can't join a super team.
Cleveland.
Who needs a lot of quarterbacks. He can't join a super team like that. I think obviously superstars like being around other superstars. I think that's why I hang out with you. With you, just we're 2 superstars in our industries, right. And we want to hang out together. All right, Gabe, we're going to take one more break. Video viewers, don't go anywhere. We're taking one more break for the podcast. Be back in a second. All right, Gabe, the camera's on me. So I guess that means I bring us back in. Let's talk some college football for a few minutes. College football was back this weekend. Did you, being a college football fan, watch any minutes of college football this past weekend?
I'm not answering that question. I plead the fifth, but I will tell you this. I'm making one exception to the banned kickers rule. We are allowed to, in fact, we are mandated henceforth to speak about Kansei Matsuzaya. I don't know how to say his last name. Matsuzawa?
I think you're right.
Matsuzawa. Hawaii's kicker. Okay. Apparently this guy from Japan taught himself how to kick on YouTube and then bombed a game winner in week 0 for Hawaii. Yeah. And so I support this man because what he is doing is pointing out how ridiculous kicking is. That he comes from another faraway country with no football obsession, that he just was on YouTube and was like, I don't know, that looks doable. And now is winning games as a kicker. It's invalidating the whole art of kicking. Go Matsuzawa.
So what an incredible opening weekend of college football, because we got everything that college football is. We had a game in Dublin that featured a ton of turnovers, okay? And then a weird ending, because why not? But also the first pass completion for Kansas State this season was to the right tackle, Okay, the ball was tipped and he caught it. That's forever going to be in the record book. Yep. We had a game. How about this game? We had a game between UC Davis and Mercer. Okay, it was actually on Big ESPN. It's an FCS kickoff classic. It was in Birmingham. It was in the fourth quarter. It was 23-17. There was a lightning delay. They scrapped the whole game. Both teams just went home. So the game just 0-0. Just ended the game. Never finished. It just like ended the game. So college football. Like game's over. Everyone has to get home. There's no, probably can't afford to change our flights. We're an FCS team. They just left. 90-minute delay. Game was over. You mentioned Stanford, Hawaii ends. Hawaii's quarterback is limping. Literally limping. Willis Reed could not run off the field. I think it was that bad. Leads him on a comeback. A kid who learned how to kick on YouTube kicks a game winner against Stanford. Like a perfect start to college football weekend. And then this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even Monday, wall to wall. I will give you my picks for college football on Thursday with episode with Matt. I've locked in 3 wagers so far. I think I'll have a fourth for college football for the opening weekend. Try to keep your portfolio small. Don't want to have a ton to bet on. I will probably bet in game and do some dumb stuff as well. But that's my week 0 college football recap.
Okay. I can't help myself but ask this question, though. We were talking about a kicker who taught himself how to play on YouTube. To the extent that that's true, are there any other positions on a football field that you can teach yourself on YouTube? I have one.
A long snapper.
Yes. So, Geoff, since that's the case, I have to ask. I don't know how I've never asked you this. Did you ever consider just being the long snapper? Yeah, I mean, you might have 10 more years left in your career.
Okay. I was a long snapper in high school.
Okay.
I did punt, field goal, everything. I was the backup in college. My entire 4 years. First string backup for 4 years in college. I was a one-handed long snapper. Like one hand, and they hate that because you want to do it with 2 hands, but I was very good at the job. Like I was legit, like I practiced, I was a second string. I'd snap the ball and run down and try to make plays. I remember one time in college, I was, when you snap the ball often, you're the first guy down in college. It's just the way it is with these kind of spread formations. You just happen to be first. And I was first down there, and the guy caught the punt and then tried to juke me out, but I can't be juked. I can't move. I'm running in one straight line. I'm not stopping at all. And I made the tackle. I actually tackled the guy in college because he's was trying to juke me out, and I just ran in a straight
I can't
line.
Go for the fake. I'm going this way.
I'm running straight down. I joke him afterwards, buddy, you just run away from me. That's all you got to do. The juking in place, I can't go. I can't move anywhere. I'm in a straight line like a freight train, buddy. I ain't going anywhere. But I was the backup for all 4 years. My offensive line coach in college hated it because I would always go out before games early with the long snappers just to kind of just hang out on the field, essentially. I wasn't going to snap in the game. And he hated that I went out early. He hated it so much. But I was a long snapper I got a video. During COVID, I decided to just try it again. I was bored. I have a great video of me long snapping, like into a net. I could do it pretty well.
Okay, that's ringing some bells, but I feel like you haven't told this audience any of what you just said. So now I have follow-up questions. This is not how I meant to spend the time. We could be talking about this great week 1 of college football or Tim Tebow being named greatest college football player of all time. He's a saint. Instead, let's stick with this punt or long snapping. Did any coach in the NFL ever suggest that maybe that would be helpful for you, or maybe you should work out with those guys? And did you ever consider that your career would be indefinite if you had that skill?
No, I can't cover kicks. I'm too fat and slow, so I couldn't do that. So that's a no. But
you're saying every long snapper in the league is, can be very precise with the snap, and they cover kicks well? And that was what held you back? They
better than, well, think about it. So I'll tell you something. So too, like in the NFL, dude, I tape my fingers like this on this hand. My fingers were taped like this together. Okay. I wore a big glove, and then I wore an actual hard cast that we took on and off. It had a slit on the side, took on and off. I can't snap with a cast that goes to here and my fingers taped like this. I can't hold the ball. So I would have to cut that all off to snap and then put it all back on. So like I was never going to do to the NFL. There were some teams I just like told them I could do it, and during training camp, they're like, "Hey, come out and like show me you can long snap." I did fine, but not good enough to obviously ever have a job doing it.
I'm saying if you just gave up on playing guard and were like, "Hi, Geoff Schwartz, long snapper, reporting for duty."
Still too fat to do that, I think.
Too fat. Okay. Got it. Got to be one of those lean long snappers.
Not agile enough. I'm going to find you the video. I'm going to find it and send it to you of my beautiful long snap I had. It was during I think I did it during COVID. I just filmed myself outside doing a beautiful long snap in the front yard.
Okay. All right. I look forward to seeing that. While we have maybe 5 more minutes, let's just pay some bills here with some real college football talk. I have a theory. And it's not a very well-researched theory, but as we started the show, one does not have to research their takes every now and then. Here goes. In a college football world dominated by the portal, I believe that the key to being a real contender is having a guy at quarterback who's been with your program for a few years or grows with your program under the same coaching staff. And that the portal is a great solution to be relevant. It might even make you very good. It can certainly win you a Heisman. But the way for a program to win is to bet on a guy and stick with him. And our preseason top 10 kind of looks like that to me. So punch holes in that take. But I feel like the portal has been really successful in many ways, and we're getting a little carried away at the quarterback position, and guys are starting to recorrect that.
Okay, so I know that we joke sometimes that your takes are just sort of to get me going. You do know college football, I think, pretty well. So this is actual like a real Gabe take about college football. You're exactly right, by the way.
Oh, wow. I did not see that coming.
Look, the portal at the top, okay, is used in my mind, and we're seeing it now, is used to fill specific needs, okay? And that's about it. Like the top program in the country, they're not bringing in portal players to be backups, right? They're bringing them to fill in certain roles here and there. But we're seeing the top programs in the country still relying on high school recruiting, building those players up, and those players becoming the core of your program. It's happening all over the country, and we're seeing even with like new coaches. We're like, Oregon's a great example, right? Dan Lanning in his 4th season. Every year the portal numbers go down and down and down. Now this year they're using a portal quarterback. But he was in the program last year, right? They got him as a true freshman from UCLA. It's his 3rd year in the college football, 2nd year in the program. You're also just not going to find, I think, the quality quarterbacks as much anymore because those guys are getting paid to stay where they are, right? You're not going to find these. Like Oregon got lucky. Chuck Kelly left, and they had a relationship with Dante Moore. And they went out and got him. And he's a 5-star kid who was committed to Oregon and Dan Lanning for many, many years. And then really a year essentially, and then left, right? And then went to UCLA. So like there was a pre-existing relationship there. But you look around the country and you're right. A lot of the teams that are at the top are starting quarterbacks they've brought in and developed. You look at obviously Ohio State at the top of doing that. Texas is doing that as well, right? Notre Dame's doing that. Oregon's not, but again, they got a young kid. I don't know if that really counts as like a portal player, even though he is, right? Penn State, young player. Miami's not. They got Carson Beck after they got Cam Ward, so they're not a program that's doing that. But you're right. But look at Miami's roster. Their roster is what I'm talking about. It's now the 4th year of Mario. And all these guys, especially in the trenches that they built up over the years, are now becoming the stars of the team. Yes, you might go get a portal player here and there, but you're not relying on the portal. And I think you're seeing that actually your favorite program at USC. Lincoln Riley realized we can't build this team in the portal anymore. We just can't. We're not going to get the best players. It's too many portal players. We need to bring in young players and have them rise through our ranks. The best players at USC right now are those guys, right, Gabe? No, Kamari Ramsey's a transfer. He's maybe the best player on the team in general. He's a transfer. But think about the offensive players. And the offensive, like Elijah Page is really good, the left tackle. Like he's a legitimate good player. Brought him in, developed him, and we're seeing a shift from a program like USC into developing those high school players. If you see, like, that's why I'm down on Colorado, to be honest with you. Like Colorado went heavy portal again for the 3rd year in a row. Eventually, you can't do that, man. You just can't. You can target individual players here and there. Oregon's done that. Ohio State's done that, right? Caleb Downs, like we're targeted. We want a safety. We want Caleb Downs. There was a coaching change there. Let's get Caleb Downs. But a lot of times, man, those core players, I think, have got to be guys you've developed essentially in your program.
Okay, great. I'm not going to keep talking then because I got one right, and you just made us smarter to end this show. We're pushing an hour. I think we wrap here, yes. Geoff. We'll come back to some of the things we talked about today, and you've got picks to make with Matt in a couple days.
I do. We will do the South. We will do the South. Would you like to see, Gabe, my long snapping video before we end here?
Let me see it as we play ourselves off. Bring out the outro music and let me see the snap.
That's it for our episode. We'll be back next Tuesday with Gabe, Matt on Thursday. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, DraftKings. We'll see you guys next week. Remember, rate, review, subscribe. Really helps our program here as we get my beautiful long snapping video up from 2020 COVID outside. It's a beautiful snap, Gabe. You're going to be pretty impressed, I have a feeling.
Can't wait.
All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Geoff.